Okay, hi, good day everyone. So we're going to graph a system of linear inequalities, and this is just your second example of the cases here. So in the first inequality and the third inequality, I need you to notice something. These two inequalities in 1 and 3, 2x plus 3y is less than 6 and negative 2x plus y is less than negative 2. These are in standard form of a linear inequality. Standard form is when you have an inequality or equation that looks like ax plus by equals c. So for that reason, that's why we're saying that these are in standard form, and what we have to do is get them into a form that we like. So what we're going to have to do for equation 1 and 3 is put those into slope-intercept form. Okay, we want to put them in the form of y equals mx plus b, or y is greater than or less than mx plus b, so that we can figure out what our slope is, which is our m, which is just our rise over run, our rate of change, and then what b would be. B just tells us our beginning, that's our y-intercept. So that's what we're going to need in order to graph these. Now, truthfully, we can graph them in standard form as it is. Okay, but I'm choosing to go in the path of what Coach did for as your warm-up. So I'm going to write these into slope-intercept form. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? So here we go. The very first inequality that we have here. So I'm going to try to squeeze everything in on this one paper, but y'all know I write kind of big. So the first inequality, 2x plus 3y is less than 6. Okay, so to get this into slope-intercept form, we got to solve for y. Okay, which means we got to eliminate this x variable, this x term, rather. So this needs to go away. It needs to be a 0. We need to eliminate it. So if it's positive 2x, we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. So we're going to be left with a 3y over here, and that's less than negative 2x plus 6. We can't put those together because the 6 don't have an x, folks. If that was what you were thinking, that it should be 4x, okay? 6 don't have an x, can't do that. Those are not like terms. Okay, so now that we have 3y, well, we need to know what is y. So we are going to, since 3 is multiplied by y, we're going to do the inverse and divide everything by 3. Okay, we got to be fair. So y is going to be less than a negative 2/3 x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. So now from there, I now know what my slope is. What's the slope? Negative 2/3. And what the y-intercept is. What's the y-intercept? It's 2. Meaning that we're going to have a point at, whoops, my paper going crooked, 0, 2. And my slope just tells me that from 0 to, I can go down 2, and then I can go right 3. Okay, so I'm going to put that on my graph. My y-intercept is at 0, 2. Let's build our graph over here. My origin is here. That is 0. And my point is at 0, 2. And from 0, 2, I'm going to go down 2 and right 3. Now that's enough for a point. But for me, I do an extra point because you see how terrible I am at drawing lines. All right. Then the other thing that's important, I almost missed it, is that we are about to graph an inequality. So since we're graphing an inequality, what else is important is what type of line we have. Now, it's important to know if you got greater than or less than, then your your line is going to be a dashed line. If you have greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, then your line is going to be a solid line. Now, let me put something around here so that we kind of know what the differences are. Okay, but this right here also important. Okay, so 5 minutes for one inequality. That's all right. We're gonna get through this together. Okay, so I had my point at 0, 2, and from there we went down 2 and right 3, and I'm turning my paper so I can graph. This one is just a less than sign, so it's going to be a dashed line all the way. Boom. So that is what my line look like. It has a negative slope and it crosses at 0, 2. And since it is less than, okay, here we go. Because it is less than, we're going to shade the area below. All right. So all of this area in here marks the solution. All right. Now, give me a second to set up inequality number 2. Inequality number 2, not that bad. It's in slope-intercept form. So we should be able to very easily identify what our slope is, a negative 2/3. And our y-intercept in this case is 4, meaning we'll have a point at 0, 4. So our slope is the same as inequality number 1. So we know that we should be going down 2 and to the right 3 from our intercept, which is at 4. So also another thing to notice that because the slopes are the same, what type of lines we gonna have? Start with the letter P. Rhymes with Ariel, parallel. Okay, we're gonna have parallel lines here. So let me go ahead and set that up over here. I know that my y-intercept is at 4. So at 0 and up to 4, oh, it went crooked. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a point right in there. And then from that point, we're gonna go down 2 and right 3. So down 2 and right 3. And like I said, because I'm so terrible at my lines, I go ahead and I make mine, I do 3 points. Okay, sometimes I'll do 4, it just depends. Now, this one has a greater than or equal to sign. So since it's an equal solid line underneath, I'm going to have a solid line when I graph. Okay, so do the best you can. Do the best you can. All right. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. That line looks awful. They're supposed to be parallel. I'm way off. Okay. Put myself together, and that's okay. I know that they're parallel. You know that they're parallel. You draw them the best you can on your paper, and I'm drawing them the best I can on mine. Okay, so here we go. We are greater than or equal to, so then the solution in this part is going, I'm going to draw these horizontal. So greater than is over here. This is where things are greater. Okay, so do the best you can with what you got, folks. So now we're going to do inequality number 3. Okay, so inequality number 3 is negative 2x plus y is less than negative 2. Okay, so we want to eliminate the negative 2 and bring it to the other side. So that just means we're going to make it become a 0. Only way to make it become a 0 is to add 2x on both sides. Now, that's going to leave us, and I'm moving everything over, with y is less than 2x minus 2. Okay, so here we go. Next you got to identify what your slope is and what your y-intercept is. So our slope here is our coefficient in front of x. We got a 2, and our y-intercept is a negative 2, meaning we'll have a point at 0, negative 2. And for our slope, we can also write 2 as 2 over 1, because 2 divided by 1 is 2. So what that means in terms of directions, from my beginning point, my y-intercept, I can go up 2 and to the right 1 unit. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that on our graph that we have right here. So 0, -2 is going to be here. And then we're going to go up 2 and right 1. Up 2 and right 1. Or we can go down 2 and left 1. Okay, so this is a less than sign. So what that means is that we're going to have a dotted line. So let's draw our line as best we can. So it's going to be a dotted line. Oh, my gravy. Okay. Okay, and then it is less than. So since it says less than, then it's going to be all of the values that are here. Because this is where it's less than, okay? Now, what happened in this case is that our system of linear inequalities does not have a solution. And the reason why we don't have a solution is because there's no point on this graph that all 3 of these share the same shaded region. Okay, so we have this section in here where the purple and the pink overlap, but there's no green there. And since which one is this? Oh, that's the second inequality was greater, so there's no overlap there. There's overlap between the green and the pink, but it has to be all 3 colors overlapping in order for it to have a solution. So in this case, our graph has no solution. Okay, so I'm going to try to there. Oops. So that's everything together for you. But this one here has no solution, folks. Okay, I just want to write it down just in case if you are a screen grab picture person. The system has no solution. Okay, so that's this one in here. And we'll get ready for the next example, okay? Let us know if you have any questions. That's why we're here.